Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I'm joined by Hazel Amber Goswick for a game of Masks of the Masks. Masks of the Masks is a GM-less, powered by the Apocalypse role-playing game about Bronze Age superhero comic book deconstruction stories a la Watchmen, The Authority, Miracle Man, and Squadron Supreme. It is a PBTA game that explores how violence affects the lives of supposed heroes, a comic book that pairs imagery and scenes with game mechanics and prose, a set of tools for crafting a mystery that only ends in your doom, a commentary on the inherent violence that comes with the TTRPG medium, a commentary on the inherent violence that comes with the superhero genre, and a story that won't stop asking you questions. And I cannot emphasize this part enough, it is a role-playing game that comes in the form of a fully illustrated, full-color comic book. When I first saw this game, I was floored, and then the deeper I got into it, the more that I played it, the more I explored the mechanics. This game is a masterpiece, a triumph. It is everything that I love about this particular genre of comics. It is laser focused, and it gets at the heart of something that is real and powerful about this kind of superhero story. Fuck, it rules so hard, and I cannot emphasize that enough. You can find more information about the game at Decovulus, that's DECOVULOUS.itch.io, or you can check the show notes for more information. Now, one thing I want to mention before we dive in is that this game fucks and I want to play more of it. And here's how you can make that happen. Currently, our Patreon is at $315 a month. If we get to $350, I will put a sequel episode to this on the calendar, and we will continue the story of the characters that we played here today. This is sort of the unofficial kickoff to the Party of 1 Year and Patreon drive, which is how we grow the budget of the show, which is how we pay our collaborators more and bring on extra cool stuff. Anyway, $350 a month Patreon, we will make a sequel to this game. That is my word. And that is patreon.com/JeffStormer if you didn't know. Hey everybody, Present Jeff here with a quick statement that we stand in complete solidarity with our friends in the WGA and SAG-AFTRA unions as they strike, fighting for better working conditions and a better, more equitable path forward in the industry. We stand in complete solidarity, which means that we will not be taking or promoting any struck work during the duration of the strike. And of course, the best way if you would like to support the strike is by donating to the Entertainment Community Fund, which supports individuals whose work has been put on hold due to the strike. Anyone who donates to the Entertainment Community Fund can send me proof of a donation of any amount. I will send you an exclusive, secret, never released Party of One episode, as well as a digital version of any single one of my games, your choice. Thanks everybody. Solidarity forever. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so excited to be sitting down with Hazel Amber Goswick. Hazel, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me.
I am frankly thrilled today. I've been looking forward to this game all day. And speaking of, why don't you take a moment and let our lovely listeners at home know about what we are playing this week, as well as anything else you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Okay, so this game is very special to me. It's called Masks of the Masks, which it's a GM-less, powered by the Apocalypse game, which is weird, but it's heavily inspired by Watchmen and a bunch of other superhero deconstructions. And it's something I've worked on for like 3 years, and I'm just really excited to play it.
I have been looking through it since you sent it over to me, and what the words that I would say here, I really want to emphasize with the most intent and importance. Holy shit, this game looks so cool and good, and like the design, like the inspiration comes through really clearly, and the art style is really crisp and clear, and obviously it is something that superheroes are my life's great passion. And so like this particular game, this particular story, this particular genre, this particular approach is something that I am so absolutely stoked for that I cannot wait to get into it.
I should have mentioned the game is a comic book, which is very important because I feel like that is maybe the thing that makes the game so special in my eyes.
That's immediately what caught my eye with it, is that like everything about it is laid out in that comic book grid, and like the fact that I was flipping through it at first and I was like, okay, cool, this section is presented as a comic book, and then I got to the playbook and went, oh wow, everything is presented as a comic book. This is the sickest thing in the world. Like, it is seeing that kind of blending of two medium that are extremely close to my heart and that I feel extremely normal about all the time, I could not be more excited.
No, that's exactly the thing. Is I love tabletop games. I love comics, and this game is just the merging of my love for both of the mediums. And I'm so happy to have been working on this for so long and be able to release it finally.
It looks fantastic. I can't wait to get in. So, we talked a little bit before we hopped on mic. We are going to create some characters. We are going to create a mystery that our characters are hurtling towards, and then we are going to play the game. But I'm going to throw this over to you. Talk us through how we're going to build our world and the steps that we're going to take.
Okay, so the game is set up. It's very similar to Belonging Outside Belonging games, except it's a Powered by the Apocalypse game, so it's kind of weird. But
I feel like they both exist in that sort of like they exist in such close conversation with one another that makes that I see how they can bleed together in a way that makes a lot of sense.
I have a hard time with GM materials, so I wanted to design a game that essentially had GM materials that weren't GM materials. So you can play this game with a GM. And a GM can build the pillars all by themselves and then present it to the players who are in control of the masks, which is what I call the players in this game. But I don't think I want to do that here. I think I want to build stuff. I mean, I want to build stuff together. That's part of the podcast.
That's what I want to do here is like, this is one of those moments when when I get to sit down with someone where we both share such a specific geek out passion, like the joy of getting to do that. I really want to build some very specific 1980s comic book stuff here right now live on mic. Like that is the thing that I want to do with all of my heart and being.
So we don't, there's no specific order of what to build first, what to make first. But there's 5 masks, which is the Paragon, the Detached, the Contrite, and the Air, and the Hardline. And then there are 4 pillars, which is the City, the Authorities, the Enigma, and the Doom. And I find that in my experience playing this game, you can do any of them in any order. Like, I've built the City first, and then built a mask for the City, and then gone and built the Enigma and the Authorities and the Doom after that. So it's really what I think the approach should be is like, if you have an idea of something you want to do with one of these playbooks or pillars, then we'll start with that and then build off of that with other things.
You know where I would like to start? I've been looking at I want to start with one of the pillars because I think that's the building the world, and then figuring out the people that exist in it is going to give me the most direction. And I think I want to figure out the Doom first. I want to figure out the thematic
that's so
Doom.
Good. Oh, that's
I want to
so
know
good.
The nature of the tragedy that we're building towards, and then let everything else flow into that tragedy.
I love that so much. That's exciting. I'm very excited. Okay. Do you want to read the choices?
Yeah.
Or?
So we'll use the Doom when a mask interacts with fate, loss, and endings. First, we're going to pick a desire. We choose at least one that is tragedy, rebirth, and infinity. And then we'll choose a trigger, either time, hubris, or failure. And then we can describe what those are when we kind of land on them. Do you have a feeling on which desire or trigger you want to pull on? Because then if you pick one, I'll pick the other.
Ooh, okay. So I did not originally design this pillar with triggers. I did it while I was formatting this, so I'm actually really excited to choose a trigger.
Okay.
And I kind of time wouldn't make sense because it's based on every hour of play. But I really, really like hubris.
I was hoping that I said the words, I'm going to let you make the choice. And then I was looking at these 3 options and was like, hubris, though. Okay, but what about hubris? So I'm so glad that we're on the same page.
Hubris is my favorite thing in superhero comics.
It's just and for Watchmen and for that kind of Bronze Age deconstructive story. And so I think the desire that I want to pull on is infinity. because
Ooh,
like
okay.
there's such a good conversation between these elements of like infinity and hubris. This idea of a sort of almost universality to hubris is fascinating to me. And that idea of what we are seeing our characters experience is echoed out ad infinitum, and it is this expression of hubris repeated forever is
yeah. That's such a good interpretation of infinity.
like, that feels great to me. And there's this idea that like
that's really good.
this is where we're headed, and this is where all that are like us will head at some point is very cool to me.
So it's that everyone will eventually become as hubristic as like the protagonist of this story.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, that feels good. It's this idea of the structure of the universe is that if you follow this path, you will come to this decision. There is no there. All roads will lead to this one river, and this one river is this doomed sense of hubris that you are the one that can fix everything.
I love infinite hubris as a doom. That's such an interesting thing.
It feels cool. I'm so excited. All right, so where do we want to go from here? Do you want to build the city? Do you want to find kind of maybe get to know the characters that are the expression of this hubris? Like, what to you is the most interesting next step here?
I think either choosing at least one character or the enigma would be interesting, because the enigma is often tied to the doom because it's the main mystery that you're exploring.
Yeah,
but like,
I really like
that. Characters are also they're obviously going to be very full of hubris.
I really like you know what, like the enigma feels like a really satisfying next step because like it's going to tell us we have this really big theme and it's going to tell us like what we want this theme to be. You know what I mean? I think that's a really good like, it's easy to say that all superheroes are hubris, but like what does that look like in this iteration is I think a good focus point for us. So would you like to read the enigma?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're going to use the enigma when a mask interacts with conspiracies, casualties, and adversaries. And then you have a mystery, and you choose at least one, which is between a murder, a disappearance, and a revelation. And then you choose at least one harbinger, which is either a retired mask, an old friend, a signal, a desperate victim, or someone with money.
Mm-hmm.
So this is essentially building your hook. That's what the harbinger is. Yeah, and that's what the mystery is. It's your hook into the narrative.
I would love if I've got a feeling about a harbinger.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're thinking about theme and we're thinking about this idea that this hubris is infinite, having it be a retired mask like / old friend is very compelling to me. This idea that our characters are confronted with, like, because I think that gives us an angle that like whatever the enigma is, we are to be confronted by the past iteration of whatever cycle we are talking about here. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I really like that. And that's also extremely Watchmen.
This all feels very Watchmen. I'm really excited.
Okay. I kind of want to keep it away from specifically Watchmen. So I want to kind of, with the mystery, I would like to maybe go down the route of a revelation.
That feels great. That feels good.
And it's like the idea of a revelation that this mask, this retired mask, has been kind of really shitty the whole time, and no one's really said anything or noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we should go with. But,
yeah, that feels good. I like that.
And we can figure out like relationship to the masks at, once we build them.
Yeah, I think that might be the next step is to get a handle on who our masks are, because then that'll tell us kind of, because like if we're imagining this as an old friend and a retired mask, I feel like it's a good call to make this somebody that we both have a relationship with, and that feels
Definitely.
like that'll kind of float us back towards that enigma.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's a good flow.
So we've got 5 playbooks here: the detached, the paragon, the contrite, the heir, and the hard line. Which direction do I want to go?
This is the hardest part for me, is like, I love all of these playbooks.
They're all good.
So much. They are... I've spent so much time with them and figuring them out as characters, so much that they've become their own characters separate from the inspirations that they come from.
I am thinking I am going to very consciously play against type today. I'm making that decision as a storyteller of what is going to make me the most happy, because obviously my heart went, well, it's the Paragon. I want to play the Paragon. I want to play the boys. Like, so I think I'm going to go in the furthest direction from that and play the hard line. I think the hard line is
awesome.
is just to truly get to inhabit something that is the furthest from the option I would normally pick. I think that's where I'm going to go. So I am going to, while you talk me through what you're thinking, meanwhile, I'm going to choose a couple assets and a little bit of my identity.
Okay. So I'm thinking either between, I want to play the heir or the detached, and I'm not sure which one is more interesting, because they both bring about a lot of different things for this hubris thing. And like, if we're talking about infinite hubris, about how you'll always become this hubristic, maybe the heir is the way to go.
That's really, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's very good. Because
being a legacy hero or whatever, a protege, a lot of times is about essentially doing the same thing your mentor did, or figuring out how to do it your own way, which, Spider-Verse and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the heir is definitely a good choice for the themes that we're going after.
That feels like a good choice. That feels like a very, very good choice.
Okay. So the thing about the heir is the assets and identity for the heir, I don't choose them from a list like the other playbooks. I choose them from all of the other playbooks.
That's very good. That popped me immediately, and I'm like, that's just a good mechanical touch. That's just you love to encounter a fun mechanical touch.
It was really useful because I had no idea what assets or identities I wanted to put for the heir, and then I figured out I don't have to. I can make everyone who plays it, choose. And also, I think it's interesting. It's really fun. But I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna really dive deep into the other playbooks and figure out what specific assets and identities will work for the heir. So while I'm looking through that, if you want to talk about what you're figuring out for your hard line.
Yeah, I've got my character, my assets and identity, and my character's name mapped out.
Oh,
and then I'll work through. I can work through my other pick list items as well. But my character's name is unnamed, which is short for unnamed assailant. Unnamed is a little bit the identity that I've chosen is a rain-soaked cloak, a soldier's vest, and a menacing physique. I'm imagining very much, not quite, like halfway between Rorschach and Bruce Willis from Unbreakable. I like I'm picturing Cloak very much in the like rain poncho kind of way.
Okay, yeah.
I'm picturing very Will Eisner's The Spirit, where it's just a guy in clothes with a domino mask on.
I love that. I love that.
And I think that's part of, and my assets are disguises and covert ops experience.
Ooh, oh, that's really exciting.
It is very much in the sense of Unnamed is a guy, like is a guy, is just a guy, and is one of those, you know, leaps out of the shadows, beats the living dog shit out of someone, and then leaves, kind of. And the idea of like disguises and covert ops is kind of just, it is very much in the Batman. It sort of just shows up, either gets beaten senseless, or beats someone senseless and then disappears. I'm so glad that I correctly read that I had done something wrong and I should pick one more asset, because I want high pain tolerance, because I think that a fair amount of how Unnamed operates is I throw punches, somebody else throws punches, one of us falls down.
Nice. No, that's great. I love that. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to figure out if I want to be like an heir of Unnamed, or if I want to be an heir of the aforementioned retired mask.
Both very good options.
Yeah. It could be both, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think I want to pick at least like one asset or identity from the hardline. Probably more, just because we'll have that relationship anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think I'm definitely gonna pick for assets covert ops experience.
That feels good.
That makes sense of like something that you would teach an heir.
This feels good. Okay, this feels good. And I'm gonna throw, as I'm looking through my options, there's a wrench that I want to throw in this that like ties very much into the theme that we laid out of the Doom theme, and also like the idea of a revelation that I'm going to throw this into my character and extrapolate a little bit from it, a little bit of what I'm envisioning for the Enigma, or what I want to pitch, more accurately, what I want to pitch to you for the start of our Enigma.
Okay.
What's your excuse? One of these options is that I died, and that's the idea that Unnamed has died has realized that he can't die is very good to me.
Okay. So are you saying that the Unnamed is our Enigma, our retired mask?
I think what I'm thinking is not so much that Hardline is our Enigma retired mask, but is, because like hearing the phrase, like I'm thinking pieces are coming, the puzzle is forming in my head, and I want to throw you a pitch. If thinking about what you said about our retired mask being somebody who was awful for a very long time, and like tying the revelation into that, but also kind of tying it into this sense of doom and hubris, I almost like the idea, and this is a big step away from Watchmen explicitly, that this is not a world without superpowered individuals. That this is a world in which at least one of that, like, this is, because I like there's something about that revelation of, oh, we could have been doing so much more with the gifts that we have, and we are not doing things with them that, like, in the wrong hands can be mortifying.
So, okay, I think it's like if Wolverine suddenly realized he couldn't die and he hadn't known the whole time.
Yeah, or it's like if Wolverine was like, wait a second, I can't die, and what I'm doing is like slumming around bars, getting into fights, and occasionally getting into sword fights, like getting into sword fights in 80s Frank Miller Japan. Like, it's this sense of like Wolverine waking up one day and going, wait a second, I have the most amazing gift that anyone has given me in human history. And like my character being unable to die and just sort of being like, well, I'm just going to help people on an individual basis by beating the shit out of corrupt cops and like landlords, rather than anything more ambitious, kind of ties into that hubris, and that almost the opposite of that hubris.
I really love that. That's really good. And I think that, like, what you're saying right now, that's going to lead into your other questions. Why can't you walk away, and why are you so sure your way is right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of answers you can pull from what you just said.
Yeah. Why can't you walk away? I like no one else can do what I do, because I like that it's a sense of, Or it's I'm gonna choose two options here. No one else can do what I can do, and I don't know how to. I think this is a character that like I died and I woke up. What the fuck else? Like, I can't exactly go back to a normal life, and I can die and wake up.
Oh, that's really good. That's
I may as
really
well
good.
do something with it, and I'm keeping people safe, and I don't know if there's a better way to do that. Like, I don't know what's right, and I'm keeping people safe is why I'm sure my way is right. And what will I leave behind? God, nothing is a very good answer. I'm gonna say not nothing and say my heart. Like, this character, sometimes Jeff picks the most cynical option and turns it into a Superman anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know what? It's not my heart. It is nothing, because like, I don't think this character cares about like the Superman things, right? Like, the idea of like keeping people safe isn't in a sense of like, I am trying to inspire people to better or make the world a better place. It's, hey, it's fucked up that you're pulling a knife on someone and trying to rob them. Like, that's a fucked up thing to do. Please don't do that. Or, hey, it's fucked up that it's fucked up that cops are trying to shake down like a shop owner for bribes. That's fucked up and shitty. ACAB, don't do that. Like, it's not a sense, there is not a higher purpose to it. And so what I will leave behind is nothing, because I'm not doing this with a purpose.
That's really good. That's really nice.
This rules. God, I fucking love making cool characters.
So what were your you like sped past? What are your answers for why are you so sure you're right? Your way is right.
Let me I'll run through the whole list. What's your excuse? Okay. What's your excuse? I died. Why can't you walk away? No one else can do what I do, and I don't know how. Why are you so sure your way is right? Because I'm keeping people safe, and I don't know what's right. And what will you leave behind? Nothing.
That's really powerful. All of that. It tells a really like solid story of who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's my turn to figure out my character, and I'm so scared. I don't know. I have too many ideas, which is always my problem.
Well, talk through me what you're thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I might come back to the assets and identity and figure out my questions first.
That feels like a good way to go.
Yeah. So, whose mask are you wearing? That's a hard one. And I'm really tempted to put a grave, but I don't have the only reason is like I like the idea of a dead mentor. I really love the idea of a dead mentor. I do love a good
dead mentor. I do like that.
But I also think a friend is maybe it might be what this story needs.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Saying like I think my character being unnamed, like wanting to be friends with unnamed and like essentially trying to be the successor, but unnamed just doesn't really want to deal with that at all.
It is a level of formal that unnamed just isn't interested in. If I recognize this is a legacy, then there has to be a point, and there's no point. I don't want there to be a legacy.
Yeah. Okay. Which we're getting extremely into Logan territory now.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am extremely not against. So yeah, I think I'm gonna choose a friend, because I don't think that a mentor is how I want my character to view unnamed. I think they're not friends.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a hopeful, like, I want to be friends with you.
I like that. That's a good energy. God, every one of these questions is very good, is the thing.
Thank you. Yeah. I could not have this game was co-written with my girlfriend Natalie, and she helped so much with these questions. She basically wrote the entirety of the Paragon because she loves Superman. She adores Superman, so of course. But I could not have written these without her. Why do you wear the mask is...
It's a good question.
I feel like I kind of answered that, and it's someone has to. I feel like specifically, I'm looking up at Unnamed and seeing this person's doing some good shit. I want to make sure this energy never dies.
That's good. That's really good. That's very good. I like that so much.
Why shouldn't you wear the mask? I think I'm Full of Love is the obvious choice.
That feels good. That feels really good.
Which is it fully ties into the hubris of like engaging in a violent lifestyle and like through the lens of love or hope.
Yeah.
And what will you do with the mask? I think they would believe that they will do better, but I think I'm gonna choose whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I like the hopefulness of this character being kind of an excuse to just do whatever they want.
Yeah, right. There is very literally a freedom to putting on the mask that is very enticing. And there is a freedom to being literally unnamed that is very exciting.
I do want to riff off of Unnamed being the name, but I'm not sure what to go with. Naming is like that's my weak point. I always take forever trying to figure out a name because I always want it to punch so hard.
I'm trying to think about what the like optimistic version of what would you call like an anonymous hero, right? Like what would you like if you were writing, because I'm thinking about Unnamed Assailant is like if a news article was writing about somebody that beat up someone else in an alleyway, right?
Yeah.
So what's the vibe if it was like an ordinary person, like an anonymous person saved some people out of a burning building? Is the question that I'm trying to rack my brain about.
I like the idea of like doing something with face. The word face, I don't know what, but specifically because of the idea of the mask being being a I could go down like a I love faceless characters, and I could do the question that might be something.
That feels good. I mean, Faceless is a good name.
Faceless is a really good name.
That's a good name, especially one that like riffs on Unnamed in a very specific way.
Yeah. I think Faceless is that's definitely the way to go. That's great. Okay. I have to choose my assets and identity now. And I think I have a better understanding of what to do with it. I want to pick gadgetry from the Contrite.
Love it.
I just love a grappling gun. I love a bunch of tools.
The grappling gun is maybe one of the best visuals in all of superhero comics. Like,
yeah, it's extremely.
And like the specifics of a grappling gun tell me so much about like who a character is and what they're like. The difference between Batman the Animated Series little like electric shaver grappling gun versus Rorschach's elaborate, almost steampunk looking catastrophe. God, I fucking love grappling guns is the thing. Truly so much with all of my heart.
Okay, this is off topic, but I'm looking through lists. So what is your opinion on the grappling gun in the Batman?
I can explain.
Okay.
I've been busy.
Oh no, have you not seen it?
I have not seen it. It's one of those things where like it's a long enough movie that I want to put aside the time to like sit with it, but we have not had a chance to do that.
I saw it 5 times in theaters.
That is a good endorsement, is the thing.
It is a major inspiration for this game.
I love that. That is what I needed to hear in my heart, is to finally push me over the edge.
I hope you watch it soon. That's exciting.
I think it's finally time. I think it is finally time.
I think I'm gonna choose creativity as my third asset, and that's from the Paragon.
Sure.
Because that can be a lot of things, but specifically, I kind of want the way Faceless fights to be a little unorthodox, and I think creativity is the right choice.
That feels great. I love that. So wait, give me your 3 options in a row, just because you said that was the third one.
Yeah, Covert Ops Experience,
Oh,
Gadgetry,
Covert Ops Experience.
and
That
yes,
was the one that I missed.
Yeah, I chose that way earlier.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we walked through it.
Okay. Okay, identity. This is the hard part. I'm looking at the detached because I really like the identities for the detached, but I don't know if any of them I like Shrouded in Loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not no, I love that because specifically they are looking for a friend in the wrong place.
Yeah, there is an absolute vibe of loneliness too. I am going to befriend a guy named Unnamed Assailant who seems to live exclusively one fight to the next.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's really good. Okay. And I'm gonna choose Cracks in the Armor from the Contrite.
That feels good.
Which indicates there is armor, but it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I think having like kind of like riot gear maybe, that they definitely stole. They definitely stole this riot gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's busted and it kind of sucks, but it saved them from a couple like probably not bullets, but definitely knives.
That feels good. That feels good.
I only need to choose 2 identities, but I want to choose one more. And I really like Reeks of Neglect from the Hardline.
That feels good. I like that.
I just think playing a smelly kind of character might be really funny.
That's a good energy and that feels great. So give me all of your options. So we've got our characters. Why don't we both run down the full list of everything so that we've got it in one place? Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, great. I am playing Unnamed, short for Unnamed Assailant. I have Covert Ops Experience, a high pain tolerance, and disguises. I am wearing a soldier's vest and a rain-soaked cloak. I do this because I died, and I woke back up. I can't walk away because I don't know how, and because no one else can do what I do. I'm so sure my way is right. I mean, I don't know what's right, but I'm so sure my way is right because people are being kept safe, and I will leave behind nothing.
Oh, really good, really good. I love the way you recontextualized stuff in the way you were talking.
It feels good. It feels good, and I've got such a good handle on this character. I've also made a very crucial decision.
Okay.
Unnamed. There's like a crucial distinction. You had mentioned Logan, and that got me thinking about like the specifics of Unnamed's powers. I don't think he heals.
Okay.
I think he dies and wakes up fine.
Okay.
This is a crucial distinction.
That's really good. Okay. So does he still is he still in the same body? Do we know that?
I think it is I think it is very much he dies, wakes up someplace nearby.
Okay.
Sometime later.
He's respawning.
Yeah, he very much respawns. I think it is very much if you stab him, he's gonna be stabbed until he finally drops. And then hours, days, weeks, some amount of time later, somewhere else in the city, he will wake up on the street or in a bed in a motel room somewhere and just not have and maybe be scarred, but not have any evidence of not be injured, be fine. Maybe scarred, but wake up fine.
Okay. Yeah. That's really good. That's a really nice distinction between healing and from dying. That's That okay. That could be the core of the mystery.
Mm.
Because we do have the revelation, and that you said that tied to the revelation.
Yeah.
Of like finding out how this happened or how this happens. But I don't know if you're interested in exploring that. Because I think there can be plenty of other things to explore with these characters.
That's part of it for me, I think. And like part of it is I like that being part of this revelation is like, hey, I keep waking up after I die, and something is up with that I've never examined, and that's very good. It also ties into this fundamental question, like this idea of this retired superhero who has been a dirtbag their entire life, waking up one day and going, oh, I've got powers that can singularly change the makeup of life as every person on this earth knows it. To look out on a city and be like, also, I know that there's a guy that's dying and waking up every couple hours out there, and he's just sort of, slumming it from bar fight to bar fight. That also, like, there's something there that I think is like a very good contrast and a very good, like, almost resentment of that idea, or like refutation of that idea, that I feel like this character that is forming of a hero that wakes up one day with a revelation would look at with a sense of like targeted disgust.
Okay, so the Enigma you're thinking is specifically someone who is like very against unnamed.
I don't know if that's the primary thing, but I do think there is like a contempt of like, you could be answering the questions of life and death and you're not doing it, and that's fucked up.
Okay. So do you think that this retired mask could be some like maybe a Reed Richards type, like
that's
wanting
really
to
good.
Explore the science of stuff?
That's really good. Especially if they've been like a bastard for years and years. If it's this idea of the worst iteration of Reed Richards one day is like who has spent like a lifetime being a capital S superhero who is become aware of there's ways that we could remake reality, and we're not doing that, is very compelling to me.
Okay. No, I love that. That's I did not have a firm grasp on what the Enigma was, and that right there is exactly like I understand their purpose. I understand what to explore with that.
Good. Yeah. This feels that you also it allows me to shit talk Reed Richards.
Yes.
Which I'll be happy about any day of the week.
I love the Fantastic Four, but Reed Richards, I mean,
hating Reed Richards is truly part of loving the Fantastic
it's
Four,
true.
and I think an essential part, honestly. Good. Okay, cool. I'm feeling so jazzed up about this, like, because that notion, like, and to build on the suggestion that you threw out, like, originally I didn't envision Unnamed as particularly central to this revelation, but I kind of love a character going like I love this character being awake, like a I say wake up call, but in the worst possible connotation, to like a super scientist character of like I could break this open and understand so many things.
So, okay. Do we want to keep workshopping the Enigma, or do we want to move on to the other pillars?
Let's move on to the other pillars. I feel like we've got a handle on this, and I think I really do want to flesh out the authorities in the city.
Yeah. But do you have a preference of what to start with?
Let's pull in the authorities, and then we'll kind of capstone with the city before we play out a couple scenes.
I like that. Okay. Okay. Do you want me to read it, or?
I can read it. Use the authorities when a mask interacts with laws, agencies, and oppressors. Their identity? We're choosing at least two. Why don't we each choose one? This will be propaganda, surveillance, unquestioned power, old-fashioned values, or impenetrable facilities.
I'm really leaning towards impenetrable facilities, and I want to make this clear. I think our Enigma is tied to the authorities in some way.
Yeah. And I'm going to double down on that and pull on unquestioned power, because those things together with the things that we've been saying about the Enigma give me this picture of like picture of like a city where everything is powered by the Fantastic Four, and that is sort of terrifying in its own way.
No, that is incredible. See, the authorities can be a lot of things, and I'm so glad that we're going with the Fantastic Four.
It's very good. If everything is just branded with like with that fucking 4 logo, and it's like we gave the police a bunch of robots that fly through the streets. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we do that? I built police robots. Why wouldn't we put them to work? And it's like, yeah, of course we made it so that that everything is an impenetrable automated series of doors. Like, why would we ever not do that? That's what we make.
Oh, that's so good. Do we want to put propaganda on top of that? If everything's branded that way, I feel like that might be something to push to.
I think so. And because I think that also ties into the idea that like part of that propaganda is that this character is a superhero.
Yeah.
Because like that the very Watchmen idea of like old superhero artwork is everywhere is very good to me, and that being a literal piece of propaganda that a super scientist made to make themselves feel better, or to make themselves like seem larger than they are, is very compelling to me.
It's very Ozymandias.
Yes.
Okay, so the authorities have conditions, and I have no idea which one to pick. We can do multiple, but that will make rolling harder. That will make rolling harder for us.
This is good. So our options are violent, secretive, or uncooperative. I also don't know which one to go with. Shit. My gut says uncooperative.
Yeah, that I'm feeling the same way. Because I want to say secretive, but because there's such a public, like, facing whatever, I think that secretive doesn't make sense.
Uncooperative feels good because it feels unconcerned. There's a Dr. Manhattan unconcerned with the dealings of ordinary people. Imagine if you called the fire department and you're like, because your smoke alarm was going off, and somebody responded with, yeah, all of our vehicles are currently investigating the nightmare dimension. We don't have any capacity at the moment. Like a world in which the authorities are so thoroughly in the pocket of someone that has spent so much of their life fucking with things just to see what happens, and like bringing superhero bullshit into the world in the worst possible way, and watching that actively impede people's ability to live is very good to me.
It's really good. No, uncooperative is definitely the way to go.
All right, which means that now we've built the city. Use the city when Mask interacts with people, streets, and skylines. We're going to pick 2 elements of identity and also a condition. Okay.
I think Monuments of Wealth is the obvious choice.
Yep.
Considering who we're dealing with.
That feels really good. And I'm going to go crumbling infrastructure.
Okay.
That feels good to me, because I feel like I like the idea that this is a little bit Venture Brothers, but the idea that all of the superhero technology that has flooded the streets and has infiltrated every part of our lives also kind of sucks.
Yeah. I think that's the vibe that we're going with for our Enigma.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that everything is built off of really shitty, like, hardware is just, it makes the most sense.
It does. It feels good. So which condition do we want? Do we want broken? Do we want corrupt? Or do we want crisis?
Oh, that's hard.
This is another tough one.
I'm kind of tempted to do broken, because that's a pretty default option, and I feel like most normal people living in this kind of city would feel pretty broken.
Yeah, that feels good. It feels good, like, in the sense of like, this is a very alienated city that we have created, and to lean into that is very compelling to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Broken it is.
All right, so we've got our city, we've got our enigma, we've got our authorities, we've got our doom, we have our masks, which I believe means it's time to play through some game.
Yeah, okay. So I gotta scroll up to the moves. I have not even talked about this. There are basic moves. They're called masks moves. They're your typical powered by the apocalypse moves. And then you have breakdown moves, which are usually triggered when you have all of your conditions marked. But you can just do a breakdown move anytime. And they're very emotionally driven. And they can also change huge aspects of the narrative and your character. One of them funnels into another set of moves, which the breakdown move is self-destruct, which replaces one of your mask moves with a worse, more violent move. It is
fucking
this game's
rules.
It's this game's version of leveling, essentially.
By just making you a worse person.
Just making you worse. Yes, exactly.
Fuck, that's so good.
I think is very Watchmen.
This feels so good. Like, the vibe here is so good. So, let's talk through. Let's set a scene a little bit, because I think like in the belonging outside belonging, idle dreaming nature, I have a question that I want to throw out to kind of like put into focus what our enigma is ultimately going to, how our enigma is going to react, or is going to begin enacting things.
Okay.
What do we want Unnamed and Faceless to do that catches the attention of our enigma?
Okay. If we're talking about how there are like drones essentially, like in the city, I think if maybe there's a protest or something, and they specifically stop the protest, or they stop the drones from like attacking the protesters. And
I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a build on top of that, because I think there's like a very cool framing that also kind of underscores some of sort of the horror of the city that I think is really cool. What if one of these drones is like trailing a protester as they like leave the site of the protest, and is like tracking them, and we intercept it?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That creates a really like honed in scene that isn't like as much as chaotic as like this happening at a protest. So I think that's a are we wanting to play through this scene, or are we wanting this to have happened and then?
I will throw that to you. Do you want to see this play out as kind of an introduction to, like, this would give us an opportunity to get to know these characters, or are you more interested in seeing what happens after they have done this?
I think this, like, exploring this specific, like, small kind of scene is a good introduction to just playing the game. So I think we should go with this. It's also like starting a comic with like from the perspective of a drone, and it's following this person, and then it like you're still seeing it from the perspective, and then it gets like it starts getting attacked by
a couple schlubs is the best way to describe it.
I was gonna say an unseen assailant, but then I was like, no, you're an unnamed assailant. But yeah, I think that's a good.
That is a good.
That's a good.
I've got
starting point.
If I may, we open with like a wide shot of the city, like a three panel spread of the city. We see, on screens, real Silver Age looking artwork in that kind of exaggerated Jack Kirby, Darwin Cook kind of way of like a superhero And we see that symbol that is on their chest is on like signs and computers and traffic lights and all kinds of like
Traffic
infrastructure of the
lights.
city.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah.
And we see, and then in the way that like a 9-panel grid is can be split into multiple like 3-panel wide shots, the next set of wide shots is a lower shot of the street as opposed to the skyline, and there is an ugly protest happening. We see people holding signs, we see people wearing handkerchief masks. This is a very visceral looking protest. And then we see the final set of panels at the bottom of the page is like a mix of cop car lights floating next to them is a mix of drones and sort of like robotic mannequin style floating android security.
Ooh, I love that visual. That's really scary.
Mm-hmm. And then the next page is, from a drone's perspective, is a person fleeing that, and they look beaten to hell. Like, they look like we can tell everything that has happened from how torn up their, like, tactical protest gear is. And they are moving through back alleys, and we are getting it through, like, the red-tinged viewfinder of one of these drones.
Okay. So, are you thinking both unnamed and faceless are on like the rooftops of near this alleyway where this chase is happening?
I think so. That feels good.
Yeah. I feel like specifically this is maybe I think that the unnamed would probably make the first move simply because of who they are.
Yeah, that feels right.
So, which mover? I'm assuming you're probably gonna rough them up.
I'm roughing them up for sure.
Yeah,
this is the right thing, and I think that what it is that we see like 9 tight panels of like following this protester. You turn the page, full panel spread of unnamed in the like dirty poncho and tactical vest, dropping down and just axe handling this flying drone from a 5th story from like a 3rd or 4th story walk up and just plummeting to the ground to just smash it to bits.
Really showing that characterization of like reckless violence because they can't die.
Yeah. It is what the fuck's the worst that's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when you fight someone vulnerable to you, roll with questions. The 2 questions are, is violence really the only solution, and have you hurt them enough?
And you also have to do your drive, which is on your playbook.
Oh,
yes.
Good My drive for the hard line. Do you know when to stop? Oh God, no. Not even a little bit. not even begin. Like, I have just thrown myself off of a roof to just smash this thing to bits.
You definitely don't know when to stop.
I don't think this character has ever asked the question, should I stop, ever once. So that is a no, but I think the other 2 are yeses. I think that a hurtling body probably hurts them enough, and at least as far as Unnamed sees it, violence is the only solution, because violence is the only solution that Unnamed has.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's great.
So that is a 6 plus 2 is 8. So on a 7 plus, you hurt each other and mark a condition.
Okay. What? I'm really excited. What condition are you going with?
Let's see. My conditions are vengeance, consumed, righteous, and confrontational. I am going to take confrontational.
Yeah.
Confrontational.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. I think that this energy matches the scene that we're going for.
It is confrontational is the unnamed version of I'm on the job. Like,
Yeah.
if he is working, he is confrontational. It's what I do is confront people.
Okay. I think I want to make a pillar move from the authorities, just because I think that it makes sense for the drone to kind of react, because you haven't destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think make things worse is the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe 2 other drones show up.
That feels good.
Yeah. Okay. So I think,
and I feel like we see these drones after what can only be described as unnamed. His body hits the pavement, the drone breaks the fall. It is smashed to bits. Unnamed bounces, hits a dumpster, lands face first, is bloody and bruised, looks up and sees 2 more drones staring down at him.
yeah, no, that's great. Okay. It is Faceless's turn to make a move, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do something that isn't rough him up, but I can't see another option other than I could stumble through danger, and I could do some bullshit, essentially, that isn't violent.
Mm-hmm. That feels good.
Because I feel like because of who Faceless is, they would not immediately go after the other 2, especially because they aren't immortal like Unnamed is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be a little bit more tactical. You know what? I think I might look for answers. I might want to figure out how exactly to tear these apart the most effectively.
That feels great. I love that. That's fantastic.
So, okay. When you search for ways to stop what's coming, roll with questions. Do you already have a lead? Are you prepared for what you'll find? Are you prepared for what you'll find? And my drive is, do you know who you are? And I think probably in this moment, maybe not. I feel like Faceless is still learning who they are and who they want to be. Which I think is very, very much showing where they're at in their kind of arc. They want to be who Unnamed is, but they extremely aren't there yet. But do you already have a lead? I want to say that maybe smashing the first drone to bits might have shown some vulnerabilities.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's a yes. And are you prepared for what you'll find? Absolutely. I think this night has already they might have already found the worst they think they're gonna find. So a couple drones fighting some drones. I think that's what we can deal with. So that's a +2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 6 + 2. That's another 8. So okay, on a 7+, choose 1. You find someone involved in this. History comes to light. You learn some perspective. The only one that really makes sense is you learn some perspective, and that's perspective on these drones.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea of what these drones weak point might be?
I do, and I think it's pulling on our pillars very specifically, and pulling on the pillars of the city. They're not they are coming apart at the seams.
Okay, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
These are drones that were mass manufactured by a celebrity billionaire superheroes manufacturing plant, and have been in service for so long that and it's kind of, I almost get that kind of Archer vibe of when you see the very old chunky CRT computers, it's that vibe of oh, this is outdated. These have been in service for so long that they can be short-circuited, they can be broken pretty easily. They're just not very well made.
Yeah, okay. And I also have to choose another thing for this move. which is on a 7 to 9, you choose one. There's danger nearby. The answers are too much for you. Mark a condition, and you unveil an uncomfortable truth. I am stuck between you unveil an uncomfortable truth and there's danger nearby. The danger is already nearby, so that's established. But I would say that choosing that would add another danger. But I like there being an uncomfortable truth, but I'm not sure what it would be.
I have an idea.
Okay, then I'm going with that. If you have an idea, I think an uncomfortable truth is something that this scene might need.
Because I want to pull on a move here from our Enigma.
Okay. Yeah.
And explore a new point of view.
Okay.
Because I think that what we see is like, we see Unnamed smash one of these drones to bits. We see Unnamed stare down two of them. We see Faceless looking at the wreckage and quietly having the realization, wait, this is a hunk of junk. Are these all hunks of junk? And like, we see through that red viewfinder again, and we cut back to like a laboratory where someone is watching this.
Ooh, okay. So,
and
okay. That brings in, yes, I see exactly what you're doing.
I think because of the Enigma that, like, I think this is good, and I think this is a good twist that has me excited. We had said that this was the moment where Unnamed and Faceless catch the attention of our Enigma.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're realizing in this moment is that they've already had the Enigma's attention for some time. Because we're seeing the shot that we see on the other side of that viewfinder is an empty laboratory wearing like a slightly ruffled, dirty lab coat. 5 o'clock shadow. We'll stick with 5 o'clock shadow. I say it's the 5 o'clock shadow. They are staring at this monitor, and our Enigma, like this, we see this hero that we saw on the screens is just watching, and they're just staring, and they just mutter, "Take him out."
Yes. Okay. I feel like so that is a specific thing to I don't know, gear up the drones for a bigger attack.
I think they are launching an attack on Unnamed specifically.
Yeah. I think maybe maybe Faceless has come down to the wreckage of the first drone,
mm-hmm.
and the other drones, they haven't noticed them yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we see the scene before these two drones start attacking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they noticeably turn their attention onto Unnamed and like leave this protester alone in a way that is almost suspicious.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It is specifically targeting. It's like they were trying to get a protester alone so they could make Unnamed alone as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like trying to split alone from like the protest by leading out a victim.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. I feel like we could make another move. With one of the pillars, or if you have an idea for something Unnamed could do.
I'm looking. I think, you know what? I'm going with it, and I think it's the right move for the character that we learn this about my character at this moment. I'm going straight for a breakdown move here.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm going straight for self-destructing because I don't think Unnamed roughs people up. I think he beats people down.
Yeah,
very specifically.
Definitely.
I think I'm going to clear that condition of confrontational, and just the second that they rev up their automated cannons, Unnamed just does what Unnamed does, and I'm going to roll with some questions. These questions are so fucking good.
Yeah. The destructive move questions are probably one of my most like I'm most proud of these because of what they ask of the players.
And the structure of them as I'm looking at them now.
Yep.
To read them out. So first off, the drive of do you know when to stop? I'm going to say yes here, but not in a good way. Like my answer is not a good yes. My answer is is when I'm dead. The answer is I'm going to go until I'm dead.
That's really powerful. This is the moment where like Unnamed is essentially like, oh shit, things are going down. I essentially just need to give my all, which is why
I just need to beat these. I need to smash these things up, and they're probably going to kill me, and I'll wake up tomorrow. It's fine.
That's really awesome.
This is fun for you, isn't it? Abso-fucking-lutely, this is fun for me. And the third question, which is not a question, and I love that so much, is you won't grow from this. I was never going to grow. I was not a person for whom growth is possible. And that is an 8 plus 3 is 11.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's exciting. That's exciting for this moment.
I'm going to take out one of these drones in case you do you want Faceless to I think I would like Faceless to have a chance to use what they've learned to take out one of these drones. I think I obliterate one of these drones.
Okay.
I think so on a 10 plus you take them out, choose one, you're unchallenged, don't mark a condition. They'll probably survive. They might wake up eventually. I love a good pick list because I love a good you pick one thing and the other two can't happen.
Yeah.
This drone is getting just torn to shreds. I am not marking a condition because this is what I do.
Yeah, that's the obvious choice, I think.
And I just tear this thing to shreds. I'm smashing it against trash cans.
Okay.
Like I jump up, I grab it. It tries to lift, and I hurl my body into the side of this alleyway with all of my force carrying this drone into the alleyway. It gets smashed up. I bring it hard onto the ground and just smash it full force onto the ground. And then I proceed to just smash it into the wall, into the ground. I am just swinging this drone in every direction, until it just crumbles into chunks of scrap in my hands.
Ooh, okay. I love that. That visual, really compelling.
There is no fighting here. There is no tactics here. This is just smashing a fucking object.
Okay. I have a really good idea to follow up that move. And I think Faceless wants to stumble through danger, and they're going to essentially use their grappling hook to pull the other drone towards an Unnamed so they can do the final blow.
I love that. That's great.
It's so when you do something really risky, explain what you plan to do and roll with questions. Which my playbook question is, or my drive is, do you know who you are? And I think this is like, this moment is this is something that is showing how they know who Unnamed is, which I think by extension is showing they know who they are because they're very confident in this moment. So yes, have you done something like this before? Have we? What do you think?
I think so, because the visual of you whipping this grappling hook at me grabbing the grappling hook and swinging it into a wall feels so satisfying that I think if you are wearing the mask of a friend, this is a thing that we have done before.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. And then are you utilizing your assets? Which that's extremely a yes.
Yep, 100%.
So that's a +3. And that's a 6 plus 3. That's a 9. Okay. So on a 7+, your plan somehow works. On a 7 to 9, mark a condition or lose something important. I think I'm gonna mark a condition. I'm not sure what. I'm gonna have to look at my list now. Fear, fragile, confrontational, and doubt. I think choosing confrontational to match your energy is like the way to go. It's the way to go. So I'm choosing confrontational.
That feels great. That feels good. Oh, yeah. So we smash this thing up. And I think as much as I like, this is a good character reveal moment or character moment to like crystallize the connection between these characters. Cause I think like I think Unnamed is delighted. I think Unnamed is giggling and chuckling a little bit like, fuck, I love when we do that.
Oh, that's I think Faceless probably doesn't share in the excitement and is essentially just studying Unnamed's like reaction to things because they're so scared of messing up and wanting to be like them that they essentially try not to emote. I feel like that's a character like decision I think I want to make in this moment is like it's very like calculating.
I think Unnamed like is chuckling, like kind of like starts like bunching up the grappling hook wire in a way that like this is probably automated, but just hands you a clump of twine and hook, walks over, like picks up the sign and kind of like I think that our protester has been like hiding behind a dumpster and like goes over and like hands the sign to him. Keep fighting the good fight. You need help? Don't find us, we'll find you.
Yeah, I feel like after what just happened, the protester probably, as soon as they feel safe, like gets the hell out of this alleyway as fast as possible.
Kind of flexing his shoulders. You wanna grab a bite?
Are you sure?
I mean,
there's still a protest.
Yeah, which means the place we probably got like. Are you saying that in terms of a like we're gonna get into a fight if we go for a bite, or in terms of a like we should probably be looking out for more of the?
I could eat, but are we safe?
I think like looks down and kind of like kicks at one of these drones into the wall and it shatters a little more. I mean, no, but we do okay.
All right. Whatever you think, I'm sure we'll be fine.
If we don't go now, then all the post protest there, all the bars are going to be swamped. So if we grab a burger now, we can dodge a line and then eat, and then if we still need to, we can get back to work.
All right. Good plan. And I think they lean down and, I don't know, like rummage through some of the scrap, trying to find anything. And I kind of want to look for answers again because
go for it, do it.
Yeah, I think there's something something was extremely off about this specific circumstance, this fight that maybe Unnamed hasn't noticed, but Faceless definitely has.
I'm actually, while you roll that, I'm gonna make myself hurt.
Oh? I'm
advancing our doom clock by 1 notch.
Okay. No, that's perfect. That's a good...
A mask,
yeah.
A mask has expressed their arrogance that...
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
You're right. Be fine.
You're right.
I was like, yep. I've been looking at the pillar books while you were mapping out your move, and I was like, you know what? That's maybe a pretty fucking arrogant way to approach. We just got shot at by some drones.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Do you know who you are? I don't feel. I think the fact. The question is essentially, are you confident in yourself? And I don't think that this, whatever is happening, they're not confident. They're not extremely not confident that they could stop anything that might be coming for them. So do you know who you are? No. Do you already have a lead? Definitely not. And are you prepared for what you'll find? I don't think so. I don't think I get any bonuses on this.
Great. 2d6 flat roll.
Yep. But oh wait, hold on. What's my condition? Do I have confrontational? Which that's a -2 look for answers.
Great.
However, I rolled a 5 and a 6. I rolled an 11, so -2, that's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay.
It could have been way worse.
Could have been way worse. It could have been so much worse.
It could have been a 0. But yeah, okay. I want to find someone involved in this, and maybe it's like I find the camera. Yeah. And I feel like that also is an uncomfortable truth. I'm unveiling this uncomfortable truth there, like, specifically. Also, the camera's still on. I think that's the thing.
There's a great, here's how, can I pitch you, like, a 1-page spread?
Yes, absolutely.
Classic 9-panel grid. The middle row, like the middle vertical row, or the middle column is all the camera. It's like a close up of the camera in your hand, and we see your reactions on the left and right panels of each row. It's like reaction camera, and the first row is you studying the camera and, like, you know, closing in, like getting closer and closer and getting a closer look. And then that middle panel of the page, that second row, we see we see the aperture close, and then that bottom middle panel, we see it open up again to show that, like, it has clearly, like, snapped a photo and, like, is clearly is clearly in operation, and we see your reaction shots on either side.
Oh, I love that so much. You have a really good way of like visualizing this 9-panel grid.
Comic books are the language that I speak in my brain at all times. And so, like, getting to play in the space explicitly is a joy that I can't fully express.
That's I have, like, no words. That's like a perfect page, and I feel like that's definitely the end of this scene. Whatever this scene was, that's a good closure for that.
Let me look at the time. I'm going to end with, I think I want to set up a cliffhanger.
Okay.
Because we're at an hour and a half. We're at time. I want to set up a good cliffhanger. Maybe we'll come back and play more of this. I would really, really like that. We'll talk after. We'll talk off mic. I've got some thoughts. Because I want to pull on another move.
Okay.
I'm going to pull on another Enigma move. I'm going to hold on to this pillar.
I think that is the important pillar for this scene, for sure.
And I'm going to reveal the future subtly or directly.
Ooh, okay.
We're back in that lab. We've gone through the camera eye lens again. We're back in that lab. Fucking smashed as shit. Absolutely, like we saw it, like, pristine, but, like, undisturbed, like there was just one person walking in this gigantic lab before. Everything is wrecked now. It is the clear signs of a destructive tantrum has occurred here. Things have been knocked off of desks, glasses are broken, and sitting in the same, sitting now again in the same chair in a slightly different position is our superhero, still in the dirty lab coat, now with a sleeve torn. So there's a second. They look like they can be converted, though. Perhaps there is an opportunity here. This is a momentary complication at worst. Perhaps we pay them a visit. And that is the close of my scene. And I'm going to ask you to set up our final cliffhanger.
Oh man. Final cliffhanger?
Where is Faceless confronted by whether it is in-person goons or robotic agents, or, like, the forces of our Enigma, our superhero. Okay. Where do they confront Faceless?
Okay. I have a pretty good idea for just, like, a scene I want to describe.
Please.
And it mirrors our, like, opening scene where the drone is following the protester. But it is following Faceless. And Faceless has not realized, and they get back to, let's say, their apartment. And it is a very slow, like, it's across 6 panels of the page, and the very bottom is them, like, entering their their window. I think it's a three panel spread. They're entering their window, and like taking their mask off, and you can see behind them in the window. The drone is like right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
That's it. That's absolutely it. And that is game for now. Holy shit.
Awesome.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm giddy. I'm absolutely giddy. That was so good. That was incredible. I'm over the moon.
No,
this is great.
I had such a fun time. I'm visualizing this comic in my head, and it's there's so much restraint I have to take to not want to draw this.
There's so much. And like, I mean, I just like this. It is such a joy to flip through a game and just feel the kind of love and enthusiasm and excitement that this game puts onto the page and into the rules and into every bit of the experience. This is so fucking cool.
Thank you so much.
This has made my entire day. Thank you so much for playing this with me.
Of course.
I'm giddy.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad you like this game so much.
It's made my entire day. So, real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work, and Masks of the Masks online?
So I'm not on a lot of social media, but you can find me pretty much anywhere. I'm mainly on Tumblr. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Decovulus, DECOV. Hold on. I always forget how to spell my own username. DECOVULOUS. I'm on Tumblr mainly. I use that a lot. And that's also my itch page, and that's where the game will be released on October 12th. And yeah,
fantastic.
That's it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for playing this with me. I am over the moon. And now I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Hazel for coming on the show. Fuck. This game is amazing. And like, I truly have not stopped thinking about it since we played it. It is such a beautiful love letter. And like getting to play this session and like where we were both just so thoroughly in it was just such an absolute treasure, and I'm over the moon about it. Like, thank you so much for sitting down with me. This was a treat. Be sure to head to the show notes or to decovulus.itch.io for your own copy of Masks of the Masks, and be sure to follow Hazel on Twitter, Tumblr, etc. at Decovulus. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Party of One Podcast. Find us on TikTok at Party of One Podcast. Find us on Tumblr at Party of One Pod. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/Party of One Podcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/Party of One Discord. If you enjoy the show, there's a lot of ways to support it. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/Party of One merch. Or, if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Rain featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody. Never gonna die.